So, we got the All Access MMA news show with Jacob DeLeon from All Access MMA. We're going to do a weekly show every Thursday on the biggest topics in MMA news. This week, we got some crazy news. Khamzat, Chimaev, Paulo, Costa, Thiago Santos taking on whoever over there in the PFL. We got a lot of things to go off for this week's MMA news, but make sure to check it out on the All Access MMA channel every single Thursday. And let's see what Jacob has to say so far.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited. I've had my eye on Bert for a while now. We talked, and he's been telling me he's been doing this for about 3 years now consistently, and this guy's dropping content every day. So I'm just like, man, this guy knows what's up, knows what he's doing, and his voice is very presentable. So I was like, you know what? Let me hit him up. Let's get something cracking. So we had a few conversations, and here we are. We're gonna do a weekly news roundup. I'm the owner at All Access MMA. I've been running my business for about almost 3 years now, and it's growing, and just keep pushing.
But yeah, we're just going through about 7 to 8 topics every single week. MMA news, the biggest trades from PFL, the Bellator to UFC, fight announcements, roster cuts, whatever the biggest MMA news is on the week. First topic we got right here, Jacob. We got Thiago Santos, former title challenger, nearly beats Jon Jones, but he had a knee injury in the fight. And after a losing streak between a lot of guys inside the UFC, top contenders of the light heavyweight division, now he's moving on to the PFL. What do you got on thoughts for this?
Dude, I feel like this was not on anybody's radar. It was like a blind side to everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Just looking at your phone, you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, Thiago Santos of PFL, I personally like the move for him, man. He's had a rough stint, you know what I mean? Ever since that Jon Jones fight, he hasn't looked the same. And, you know, what did they say? He tore like both ACLs, both MCLs, like his knees were shot. So, I mean, it's going to be a good move, man. I've been watching PFL for a while now, and it's getting more exciting. They're really trying to get those top contenders, you know what I mean? And they're throwing the money out, man. So it's a good move for them. He's got the name. He's got the skill. We just got to see if it puts it together, man. It's just like MMA is so mental, and when you come after those big injuries like that, you never know how you're gonna come back. You know what I mean? It's always in your head, like, all right, like, is my knee okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I'm excited, man. I think it's a good move for both him and the organization, and it caught everybody off guard. What about you?
Yeah, I was very surprised. I saw the article, the news, things on Instagram like about 2 to 3 hours ago, and I heard it was mutual. I thought maybe the UFC cut Thiago Santos for whatever reason, even though he was just in a main event. But Thiago actually talked to the UFC, and they mutually agreed on releasing Thiago Santos so he can go on and make some really good money, potentially, with the $1 million over there in the PFL. So I think it's a great move. I think with the amount of money he was making in the UFC on the losing streak, you want to cash in on that, all your years of sacrifice, fighting for the belt with Jon Jones, potentially make yourself $1 million. So I think it's a great move by Thiago Santos here.
No kidding, right? It's like the Kayla Harrison. It's like you can come to the UFC, yeah, you're going to get those championship fights, but you should guarantee $1 million every single year. She's just on a different level. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even in the UFC Bellator, it doesn't matter. Like she's the top. Like obviously everybody wants to see her Nunes, but it's just like the PFL. They're doing it right.
Mm-hmm. And you think about any of the PFL fighters joining the UFC, whoever they fight in the UFC, they'll probably make $50,000, $100,000. But for 4 fights in 1 year, it only takes 365 days. You can become a millionaire with the PFL. Thiago Santos probably makes $1 million in like 8 fights of the UFC. So I think it's a great move, and I think he's got a very good shot of winning this season of the PFL if the knees aren't going to be an issue, and he needs to let his hands go a little bit more than he usually does. But should be exciting. Can't wait.
That's his problem, right? He just always is a little timid to let go, man. It's like not Tyron Woodley like that, but just like shades of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has sort of little spurts at Tyron Woodley. Every now and then he'll be like, all right, I want to throw a little bit, and then he'll just go boom, and he just won't throw for like a minute straight. It's just If he lets his hands go in the PFL, I'm sure he'll have some success over there. All right. Next topic we got over here is Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz at UFC 279. Is going to be a money fight for Khamzat Chimaev. He has said the only reason he accepted Nate Diaz is money, brother. That's literally it. Nate Diaz, only reason he accepted it, well, it's money. Not for the same reasons. He wants to make some money outside of the UFC in his new promotion. I'm forgetting the name of it. But he's making his own MMA boxing promotion. He's trying to fight Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. He's in it for the money. Khamzat's in it for the money. It should be a fun fight either way. But what do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, I got it almost like how everybody else has. You know what I mean? I don't think, I don't know. I don't think Khamzat's going to run through him, but like he's probably going to. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Got a little tired in that Gilbert Burns fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not saying it's going to favor Nate Diaz, but it's going to favor him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As the fight goes on. I don't think he's going to win, no. But it's just like, it's just one of those fights, man. It's like what John McCarthy said. I think he said that earlier today, where he was like, did you see just them scheduling that fight? Like, it was just a dirty move. I think he said slimy. He was like, just the UFC scheduling Nate Diaz, slimy move with Khamzat. You know what I mean? His go-away fight. Had all these big fights with Conor. You know what I mean? He's been it since the Ultimate Fighter, the beginning. So it's just like, I don't agree with it either. He probably shouldn't be fighting this guy. But, I mean, he even said it himself. He even said, I don't want to fight him, but I'm not going to say no. You know what I mean? He literally said, like, I never wanted this fight. Still don't want this fight, but I'll fight anybody. And that's what he does, man. So I got Khamzat winning. Hopefully, it's a prayer, man, that Nate Diaz gets like the big FU and gets like a crazy. I mean, he's not gonna knock him out, but like maybe a crazy submission, crazy something. You know what I mean? The odds are so against him, but man, if he can ride off in the sunset, that would be like the biggest. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it would be greater to say Nate Diaz go out there and submit Khamzat Chimaev round 5, just like he was about to beat Leon Edwards in round number 5, just like Leon Edwards beat Kamaru Usman in round number 5. These are all crazy things, crazy underdog, come from behind stories. And is Nate Diaz, anything is possible, but I'm on your train. I think Khamzat should definitely win the fight. I think they did a dirty move, giving Nate Diaz the Wolf, Boris Chimaev. I think they should have gave him another guy that's on this card in Tony Ferguson. If you look at Tony Ferguson in the co-main event, moving from lightweight to welterweight, when I heard he was moving up to welterweight on UFC 279, I was immediately like, Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson would have meant a perfect fight, but the UFC, like you said, is being a little slimy, being a little dirty, trying to get Nate Diaz off outside of the UFC with the loss. Not really the most fan. I mean, it's sort of fan friendly in that we're gonna see a pretty good fight here, but you know they're kind of doing Nate Diaz a little bit dirty there.
Dude, if they would have scheduled Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz, that's like picture perfect. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're both on the way out. Both haven't been doing the best. But man, that I think that's one everybody would have rather saw. You know what I mean?
100%. And, I mean, we have Li Jingliang here. We got Khamzat Chimaev here. Khamzat, the only reason he accepted it, like I said, is money. If Khamzat Chimaev wants some money, he can call out Colby Covington and get the trash talk on with him. Colby's going to go crazy in that one. Khamzat's going to go crazy. You can make some money. But Khamzat knows that Nate Diaz is a lot more easy of a fight, and the UFC gave him that opportunity. So it's not really Khamzat's fault that they're giving Nate Diaz this really, really bad matchup in his last fight of his career. If I'm Nate Diaz, I'm Tony Ferguson, I'd be pushing for that fight, but I know Khamzat's just there like, they offered me Nate Diaz, I have to take it at this point. It's literally free money at that point. But you're right. They should have just done Nate Diaz, Tony. That's what I wanted. That's what you probably wanted. It's what everyone wanted. But this is the fight we're dealt with now.
And that's what's crazy, man. Like Nate Diaz, obviously everybody in the sport knew him before, like it was the underground.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, up until Conor, he wasn't really a big name. You know what I mean? Nate Diaz was Nate Diaz. They were like just a Diaz. I mean, everybody knew who they were. But like, dude, just when he fought Conor, it was just like superstardom. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Something he could have never imagined. And now he's just like a money fight for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to me. And hey, you said Colby and Khamzat. Who would you have in that fight?
Who would I have on that one? Now, it's interesting because Khamzat usually going out there looking for the takedowns, looking for ground and pound, rear naked choke like he did with Li Jingliang. But like we saw in Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, is there really going to be too many takedowns between Colby and Khamzat? I highly doubt it. And Khamzat Chimaev, he does have some decent kicks, front kicks, body kicks, and things like that, but he kind of relies on the pressuring forward kind of combinations coming forward, right hook, left hook, uppercuts, overhands, to kind of get him to win, get the knockout, or either get the decision like he did with Gilbert Burns. The one thing that kind of changes my mind from being like, dude, Khamzat's the next champion, he's going to win that fight with Colby, is the kicks of Colby. Colby has really good body kicks, really good leg kicks, and he throws a lot more volume than Khamzat. Not to mention the cardio advantage that Colby Covington most likely is going to be coming in with. And yes, Khamzat's going to be a lot bigger, but can he use that size and strength to beat Colby in the clinch, beat him in the ground with wrestling? I highly doubt it. So I think it'll be a 5-round striking match with Colby and Khamzat. Khamzat probably wins some of the early rounds, but I think Colby wins the later rounds and gets the decision. Who do you got on that one?
Yeah, I can see a similar, man. It's like look at Usman and Colby, two of the best wrestlers, and it's a stand-up fight. You know what I mean? It'll probably go the same way if Colby can mix it up and actually go for the takedowns. I think Colby can take it, especially like, you know what I mean? Look at Khamzat. What did he take? 3 shots in his first 2 years in the UFC.
Yeah.
And then he fought Burns, and it was like 100 and something. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like Burns showed he was killable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I think Colby has his number, but Khamzat's young still. You know what I mean? How old is he right there?
28 and a half years old. Not even in his prime.
That's crazy, dude. So yeah, I mean, I think Colby gets him now. It's just I think he'll put the wrestling together, and really, it's how good is his defensive wrestling. You know what I mean? Whoever is wrestling is more defensive, like they're gonna be fine. But like you said, it might just be stand up, and it's just like that's one I would honestly want to see, just a grappling match. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outside the UFC, because I'm just so curious how that would go, man. Like Colby's so relentless, you know, I mean, his cardio's next level, training with all those crazy super athletes. But no, it's a good one, man. It's definitely gonna happen, right? Like it's one of those where it's bound to happen. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna know soon enough.
Next topic we got is in the lightweight division, Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. We were just talking about Nate Diaz in our last MMA news topic. Well, Dustin Poirier was scheduled to fight Nate Diaz a while ago. That would have been a great money fight. But he has many more money fights after that. He had 2 Conor McGregor fights. He fought for the belt against Charles Oliveira. And now he's fighting one of the highlight reel machines of the UFC lightweight division. If it goes to a decision, if it's a round 1 finish, either way, Michael Chandler's putting on amazing fights. He's not going to be as tall as Dustin Poirier, not as lengthy as Dustin Poirier, but he makes up in size for the power that he possesses in his hands. If he wants to win this fight with Dustin Poirier, he needs to put the pressure on Dustin, land some big shots in round number 1, round number 2, look for that finish, but I don't know if he's going to get it. Should be a good fight, though. I think this one is definitely going to be fight of the night.
Dude, this one like has fireworks written all over it, right? Michael Chandler's never been in a boring fight. Dude, and that was such a good move for the UFC to pick him up, man. You know what I mean? He was a really big name in Bellator, and he was the man around there. But you don't get the mainstream ESPN eyes. You know what I mean? You don't get the casual fans if you're in Bellator. And dude, the dude has not disappointed, man. He's just been an absolute like onslaught. Whether he's getting hit or hitting, he's not taking a step back. You know what I mean? And then he has that pedigree wrestling where he's so good everywhere, man. And this is you know those fights where you're like, man, I don't know, like I'm not putting money on it. I don't know who's gonna win this one. A clip, it could be a submission. You know what I mean? Like I literally have no idea where it's gonna go. I would not put my money on this. And it's just like it's one, just bring the popcorn out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the best fights of the year. I mean, we just saw Chandler versus Gaethje, which was an absolute banger. Any matchup between those 3 guys, Chandler Gaethje, Chandler Poirier, Poirier Gaethje, any of those matchups are definitely guaranteed popcorn and fireworks in the lightweight division. But it's a weird one because we just saw Michael Chandler get knocked down by Tony Ferguson in his last fight on a 4-fight losing streak. Dustin Poirier has that kind of power. He knocked down Charles Oliveira in their fight, but Michael Chandler did the same. So they're both power punchers. They both have the ability to knock the other guy out. It's just the ability of them maybe to mix in some wrestling, maybe to mix in some grappling with the striking. Whoever does that, I think, could win this fight.
Man, it's funny you said that about Tony Ferguson, man, because that was. Did you ever see the quote where Tony said, like, if I lose this fight against Michael Chandler and I get ran over, I'm done. Like, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first round, he gets that clip, knocks him down. He ends up on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, he had a little smile at the end of the round. And, like, everybody, he told himself, like, hey, I'm still in here. You know what I mean? I'm going against the best in the world. I knocked him down. I had a chance. And the second round, he gets that highlight cover magazine knockout. You know what I mean? Where
yeah.
He's part of that old people at the table with. You know what I mean? Dude, that's such a funny picture, dude. I was like, it's jacked up, but man, anybody looking at that for the first time, you have to crack up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, man, this one's gonna be a banger, man. It's just I'm excited.
Yeah, same here, man. I mean, I was about to put money on this fight. I was like, maybe I'm going to put some money on Dustin Poirier, but he's a little bit too big of a favorite as of right now. And it's too unpredictable. Michael Chandler's way too unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to go out there like he did with Ferguson, get hurt by Dustin Poirier on the feet, and just be like, nah, I need to go for takedowns in this fight and try to grind on the ground. So I'm very curious to see the game plans between both guys.
What's the line?
The line on this fight, let's go check it out. I believe Poirier's around minus 150, minus 140. That's the last time I remember.
He's probably plus 120, right? It can't be that much.
Michael Chandler, let's see. Wow. Minus 170 for Dustin Poirier, plus 145 for Chandler.
Plus 145?
Mm-hmm. They started at Poirier as a 2-1 favorite.
Man, Chandler by knockout, those odds are probably pretty good.
Oh, yeah, plus 300, plus 400 range. It's going to be interesting.
I mean, it's a long shot, but you know what I mean? Those are my type of bets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be a banger of a fight. Darren Till and Dricus du Plessis. I never get the name right, but it doesn't matter because we have another fight like Dustin Poirier, like Michael Chandler. Guaranteed to be fireworks in the striking. Maybe we'll see some wrestling and jiu-jitsu from Dricus du Plessis, who actually has half of his wins by submission, but we all know the other half is by knockout. He's fell in love with his hands, and this is going to be a banger of a striking fight. Dricus doesn't have the best technique, but he likes to come forward and he likes to bang. Darren Till getting injured a lot. I don't know what that's going to do coming in against a killer like Dricus du Plessis. But we shall see come at UFC 282. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Man, I like, you know what I mean, Darren Till, he's a fan favorite, man. But he is so, I believe he's so in his head. You know what I mean? He's so worried about, man, I got to perform. And when you have that on your back, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's just fighting in general. That's what I always tell everybody. I mean, I don't know. I've been my way around, you know what I mean? I've been to a bunch of backstage UFC events and stuff. I know a lot of the guys. And, dude, it's just a big thing is, like, it's not how good you are. It's not how good you're in a training room. It's how do you show up on that exact 25 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. You know what I mean? How do you perform in that one night, man? And that's the biggest thing with him is I don't know how he's going to perform. You know what I mean? It's just – it's such a mental sport, man. It's physical all the way up until fight week, and then it's just a mental onslaught. I mean, look at I was just filming with Blake Builder. I was at his whole Contender series. We're filming everything, man. The whole time he was rock solid mentally. And after the fight, he tells me, he's like, man, I know I look solid, but dude, I'm nervous. You know what I mean? I'm putting on this thing, and dude, I'm so glad that guy got the win, man. But it's just like. It's such a mental sport, man, and I think Darren Till has fallen to that. But like you said, I'm not going to butcher his name. You probably said it right, Plessis. But, yeah, man, he's on a 5-fight win streak. You know what I mean? A lot of submissions, a lot of knockouts. And I don't know, man, this is a hard fight. I would probably bet the over on this. But I don't know who wins it. Bet anything. What bet would you place on this one?
The bet I would place would be a double chance prop with Duplessis KO or decision, because I'm not 100% sold on Dricus going out there and starching Darren Till, knocking him out round number 1, round 2. He has the ability to. He's done that 2 times in a row inside the UFC and nearly knocked out Brad Tavares plenty of times in that fight. But if you watch Darren Till's fights recently against Robert Whittaker, didn't even show the signs of getting knocked out or rocked by Robert Whittaker. Then he got out wrestled by Derek Brunson. So I would say my prediction is going to be Dricus Duplessis. I think he's going to put all the pressure, land the bigger shots, and win a decision. But I'd like to hedge my bet a little bit, doing a KO decision prop.
There you go. Yeah, man, and Darren Till, he's one of those guys that they started off super young. You know what I mean? I mean, he came right out the gates fighting top 10 dudes, like, right away. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's look at his...
22 years old.
12-0 at this fight. He was 22. Is this his debut?
This is debut, underdog.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, dude. 22 years old. And what year was this in? This was 2015?
2015.
Dude, and he was doing so good, and then Masvidal knocked him out.
Yeah.
In the UK. And, dude, that was so crazy. That shot Masvidal, that was like his first shot into the top 5. You know what I mean? And then now we all see where he's at.
Yeah, it was in London, England. I mean, that's another thing. You were talking about the mindset and the mentality of Darren Till. He's had so many of these moments where he's relying on his fans. His fans are watching him. They're all like, Darren, Darren. And Darren's in London, England for this fight with Jorge Masvidal after losing a title fight with Tyron Woodley, looking to come back with a good win. And he gets knocked out in front of his fans. What is that going to do to your mental state after a fight like that? Getting knocked out right after losing for the belt. It's not going to be good, and I don't know how much all of these losses and then wins and then these ups and downs of his career are really gonna affect a guy like him.
And he even posted something on Instagram, and it kind of resonated with me with what I said. He posted a picture of him in a mirror, and he put me versus me. And I think he knows that's his battle too. You know what I mean? Like the dude's got the talent. I mean, I've seen Darren. I know Darren. I've filmed with him, and you know what I mean. I've seen him in the training room against Khamzat, Sean Strickland, and dude, he's game. You know what I mean? He's putting up. Dude, he took Ion Kutalaba's back when I was there. He was, you know what I mean. He was on his back for like 4 minutes. You know what I mean? And Strickland tells me, he goes, dude, come on, you're gonna let Darren Till take your back like that? And he was just screaming at them. It was cracking me up. But I mean, dude, in the training room, he's as good as anybody. You know what I mean? He's a solid opponent, solid guy, definitely top 5 worthy. What is he right now? He's like number 8, number 9.
He is, I believe, number 9. Let me see, number 9.
It's gonna be interesting, man. I think I gotta go up. If I'm putting money on it, I would put Duplessis there, like just like you said. I think the by knockout or the double chance, that's the way to
go. Which one is that? What's after this one? Darren Till, Diaz, Chimaev. Oh yeah, Paddy the Baddie. So, I'll be on Instagram. All right, next one here. Let me find it. It was a little lower. All right, there we go. In the lightweight division, Paddy the Baddie Pimblett will not accept anyone inside of the top 50. And I'm talking number 1 contender, the champion, Charles Oliveira. He will not accept a single fighter ranked inside of that top 15 for the next year and a half to 2 years or so. He said this on a podcast. Full send, boys, all of those guys. I probably won't do it for another year or so. And we've seen guys in the top 15 call out Paddy the Baddie, and he just says, no, I'm 27 years old. I don't need to rush it. I don't need to be like Khamzat Chimaev and immediately fight Gilbert Burns, immediately fight Jingliang Li in my third or fourth fight in the UFC. I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to make my money, build myself up. I'm only 27 years old. So yeah, I don't know who he's gonna fight next. I'm assuming it's probably gonna be at UFC 281 or UFC 282, but very curious if it's not a ranked opponent, like he's saying here, who that opponent might be.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking a smart route, man. You know what I mean? I mean, you can almost say it was like Sean O'Malley. Now he's straight up with the Wolves. You know what I mean? But he had that build up phase, and I I mean, is Paddy still on his first contract? How many fights has he had?
He's had 3 fights in the UFC.
3 fights, so he's probably getting a new one, and if not this one, the next one. And yeah, man, it's just he's getting that 12-12 probably. I mean, he's making a couple mil with Portnoy over there. You know what I mean? So that's good. But yeah, man, he's taking it smart. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't get paid by like the hourly. You know what I mean? Like they said, it's you're going in there quick, going in there, coming out quick. But yeah, man, Paddy, if I was a fighter with his hype, why rush it? You know what I mean? Get those tough battles and that experience that's well needed. You know what I mean? You don't want to get that. You're on top of the world right now. Get a knockout, and then you know what I mean. Where do you go? Or get knocked out? I mean, and where do you go from there?
Yeah, and the guys that were calling out Paddy the Baddy, like they are killers in the lightweight division. The most recent guy, Arman Tsarukyan. Do you think anybody that, like you said, is on their first contract with the UFC, about to get renewed with a new contract, do you think anyone wants to fight Arman Tsarukyan, potentially get ground and pound TKO like Joel Alvarez? I highly doubt it.
Dude, I think Arman, he is like the dark horse of that division, and he's young, right? Click on his name. How old is he?
He is, I believe, 23 or 24, but I can check.
I think he's 25 because I just talked to Lewis.
25. Oh,
yeah, he was telling me. Yeah, he's 25. Yeah, dude, Arman is like an absolute dog, man. You know what I mean? That last fight he had, that wrestling match, who was it against?
Mateusz Gamrot.
Gamrot, dude, that was like the ultimate MMA match in my mind. You know what I mean? I'm watching that fight and I'm like, dude, it does not get better than this. Back and forth, the wrestling, everything. They're literally, those guys were as good as each other.
Yeah.
And nobody was better. You know what I mean? It was just.
I mean, the strikes right here. Look at that.
It was unanimous decision. See, 110, 1-8. The takedowns probably got it, but
dude,
that unanimous decision that could have gone anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that do not want to fight this guy. We try to break fights a lot, and it's just like you can't break the fight with Arman because everybody's gonna say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to fight with this guy. But it's cool too. I want to see Paddy. You know who I want to see Paddy fight? Now that we're on this topic, I want to see him fight for Paulo, man.
Ooh, that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, man. Matt's been my friend for a while now, man, and he's been pushing for that fight. And I mean, Jordan Levitt got it, and Jordan's a game opponent. You know what I mean? I think that was probably a good opponent for him to have. Where he's a good grappler, good. You know what I mean? It was the worthy opponent. But yeah, I want to see Matt get a shot at him, man, because they're both not in the 15, and that's what I want to see. If you could pick Paddy's next opponent, who do you got?
I would. A lot of the guys he's been fighting recently have been more like grapplers and wrestlers type of guys. A few of them have had like some decent striking in their arsenal, but I mean Matt Frevola is a solid matchup in my opinion. But I would like a guy that you could look at Paddy's record and be like, dude, he just beat a 13-0, 14-0 guy. I think Otman Azaitar would be a good fight if he can cut down to 155 and make it a striking match with Paddy the Baddy. I think that'd be a good matchup for him.
Yeah, and I think that's Matt's next opponent is Aitar.
Like, actually?
You know, I'm gonna. Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I did not know that was a fight. Wow.
Yeah. So let me give you a little insight on this. So I was filming with Matt. Man, maybe it was December 21st. I was in Long Island with Matt, and he was telling me a story of. So this was on Fight Island. He was supposed to fight with somebody. He was supposed to fight Otman. And then Otman had that little scandal where... Did you remember that? Where he was supposed to fight on Fight Island. And
he like had a bag of potatoes or something? Something stupid.
Yeah, whatever it was. You know what I mean? But they pulled his fight. And Matt was left without an opponent.
Oh, was it Arman?
And lo and behold,
Arman's
opponent, something happens with him. So Arman pulls out. Arman's opponent pulls out. Otman gets taken out. And Matt told me, he was like, dude, I had a feeling. He was like, for some reason, I'm going into this fight. We fighting this guy. I have a feeling I'm going to fight Arman. And Matt went to Thailand a few years back, and he was training with Arman. And dude, Arman was probably 21 at this time. And Matt trained with him, and he was like, I was still a little in shape, but I wasn't top shape. And then he said after 2 rounds, he was like, oh my God. he tells his dad, he says, "Dad, we're not fighting that guy until we're top 10 in the UFC." So this is years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, "We're not fighting that guy." And then let's fast forward back to Fight Island where they get knocked out, and he has to fight Arman. He was like, and when they lined me up against him, I was like, I have no choice but to do this. But he was super proud of himself for that fight because he didn't win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he won against somebody who he was like, I'm not gonna say intimidated, but he was like, man, I don't want that fight. You know what I mean? And he took him to a 5-round decision, man. He did good, held his ground, and that was just a cool little side tangent, man.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, Matt Frevola went 3 rounds, 5 rounds, however long it was, with Arman Tsarukyan. You think about guys recently that fought Arman. Who was the last one? Joel Alvarez, Mateusz Gamrot went to a decision. And Joel Alvarez got destroyed, ground and pounded, cut up to oblivion. Matt Frevola was fine after the fight. He was perfectly fine.
He was fine, man. He went 3 rounds with him, and that's why. It was like, it's a real cool story, man. I need to post it on my YouTube. I got it all on video. And he was just saying like, man, I didn't want that fight. I ended up fighting what was his name, and it was just a cool story.
But yeah, Paddy's next opponent, I would say the winner of Matt Frevola, Ottman Azaitar. Whoever wins that one, Ottman gets a knockout, Frevola gets a knockout. Something crazy happens there. We got Paddy's next opponent.
It's funny all the tangents you can go on, right? Talking about MMA, all the past fights, and you're like, you start with this guy, and then you're telling stories about somebody else.
Yeah. What was the next one? Costa and Khamzat. I don't think we got a video on this one though, but we can talk about it. In the middleweight division, Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa altercation a few days ago at the UFC PI. Paulo calling him not a real gangster, making fun of him for the way he talks. I mean, his rat lip and things like that. Paulo is just saying all the words to get under the skin of Khamzat Chimaev. And Khamzat, I guess he took it a little personally, because at the UFC PI, Paulo confronts him. Khamzat's trying to go at him. His team's trying to break him up. I mean, it was a funny sight to behold, but what do you think about this situation?
I don't know, man. I want to see them fight. You know what I mean? They're both these guys. They're on both ends. Paulo Costa has like one of the funniest Twitters in the UFC. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I want to see them fight. You know what I mean? Both these guys are gonna argue. They're gonna talk crap to anybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who did Khamzat see? It was it was with Darren Till. Oh, what's his name? It was Buckley. It was Joaquin Buckley. And he was like, fight with me. So this dude's gonna talk crap to people in their face. You know what I mean? Costa the same way. But man, I want to see that fight. If you had to pick a winner of that fight, who do you got?
It's tricky because of the size situation, but the fact that I saw Luke Rockhold was able to get on top of Paulo Costa in their fight, put all the blood in his face and things like that, ground and pound at the end. For a guy like Luke Rockhold at like 39, 40 years old, however old he is, able to get the fight on top of Paulo Costa, I think there'll be a moments where Khamzat will be able to get the fight down. But like it says on this post right here, Khamzat rejects the fight. He doesn't want it. He says he wants to continue in the welterweight division, either fight for the middleweight belts or fight for the welterweight belt after Nate Diaz. So maybe we'll see the fight if he can become a champion in middleweight division and Paulo earns a title shot, but it would be a fun fight if it does happen somehow.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Well, it doesn't make no sense. I think his first 3 fights, he was kind of jumping back and forth to welterweight.
Yeah.
Even his coach was like, dude, you got to figure it out. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? We can't be jumping around up. We can't just be fighting everybody that causes you out. So no. Yeah, he's going to stay on 170. This will be a cool fight down the line, but yeah, I don't know how this one will go. There's question marks all over this one too. You know what I mean? It's like the size. I want to see how they even match up, like face to face. You know what I mean? I wish that video they got a little closer so we could see.
Yeah, they should do Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev face off, and then just bring Paulo Costa in with this secret juice, face them off as well. Why not?
Isn't that crazy? So Khamzat, you could see Khamzat fighting Costa, right? Like that's a fight you could see in the future. You would never see Nate Diaz.
It's crazy.
Paulo Costa.
No.
Right?
Nah, never.
Dude, that's weird. That's crazy how. Oh man, they're throwing him to the wolves.
Man. Oh yeah.
But yeah, funny little side note.
It's always the blurry cameras, the shaky cameras for these situations. But yeah, Renzo Gracie, if you don't know him, a great jiu-jitsu fighter. Has a just randomly has a street fight. Nobody really knows why, but it's in the subway in New York. Briga do Metro M Nova York. I'm assuming that's Brazilian text right there, but yeah, he immediately does some sort of hip throw, gets on top, full mount in like, I don't know, 5 seconds, really, really fast. I don't know if he's ground and pounding, looking for the submission, but Renzo out here still getting into fights on the streets. What do you think about this?
Yeah, man. I mean, Renzo's is the before everybody made their move to Austin. I mean, I live in San Antonio. Austin's right down the road. Austin's the grappling central right now. But before this move, it was in Renzo's. You know what I mean? Renzo was the man. He had some of the best grapplers in the world. He had John Danaher. He had all the Death Squad. You know what I mean? Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonin. He had all of them. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like accolades, I wouldn't want to mess up any black belt. But if there's one in particular, I'm not messing with this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like this guy's the top of the game, man. You don't ever want to. It's not worth getting in a street fight anyway because you're gonna get shot or go against. You know what I mean? You never know what happens. But dude, wrong place, wrong time for that guy. You gotta look at his ears. You know what I mean? And know like, hey, I'm gonna get messed up right here. But yeah, man, Renzo, I got a lot of respect for that guy, man. I met him a few years back. I went up there to New York, and yeah, man, he's the top of the game, class that guy. I want to know what happened exactly because he must have got really mad. From what I heard, it was like the guy that Renzo was talking some Portuguese or something on the phone. I don't know the details, but apparently the guy gave him crap for like, hey, why are you speaking Portuguese? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know the story. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but apparently somebody said he was making fun of like the Portuguese and then like he just attacked them. You know what I mean? It would be interesting to see exactly how, but yeah, man, he's the class act guy. Whatever happened, you know what I mean? I'd be. He might have been mad at that moment. You know what I mean? Who knows? But don't get in a fight with Renzo Gracie.
Yeah. If I'm the guy on bottom, just tap 2 seconds. As soon as he gets full mount, just tap, bro. Just be like, I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, that's what I would do. But yeah, funny little situation. I'm not too sure what the actual situation was, but it happens from time to time. We see BJ Penn have these type of fights. Now we got Renzo Gracie, but Renzo coming out on top in this situation. But yeah, that was it for today's MMA news with all access MMA news. Thiago Santos moving to the PFL. Diaz versus Chimaev. Chandler Poirier. Plessis versus Paddy the Batty not accepting anyone in the top 15. Costa Chimaev just randomly having an altercation. And then, of course, Renzo Gracie's altercation with a random guy in a subway. Pretty interesting news this week.
Yeah, so we're going to move this to my channel next week. We just wanted to kind of introduce everybody with what we're going to do. And yeah, we're gonna bring the top all the action, all the stuff, and we're gonna have it on my channel moving forward. We're gonna have a solid screen, and everything's gonna look good, and just come back and see us next week.
Yeah, we're gonna make this setup a little bit better than just going through it like this. But if you want to check out the next episode that we're gonna do next week, it's gonna be on the All Access MMA channel. They got a bunch of interviews of LFA, UFC, Bellator type of fighters. I mean, they got a lot of fighters. One of them is about to fight in the PFL championships for the $1 million. Oliver Abba Mercier. You want to go check out some of those, you can. But every Thursday we got the MMA news for you. All right, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.